This is C3. No. Oh, that's an F. I knew it was close. Wow, that's an F. It's in key. But I'll be goddamn. I'll be goddamn. Well, I'll be goddamn. Satisfied.
Hey you guys, it's Courtney Camaro. I'm outside of Muhammad Ali's real original home. We're in Chicago, and I wanted to shout out Al's Botanics and Herbs. Man, when I tell you, I am one of those people that has insomnia. I can't sleep. I can't focus on some days because I'm so sleep deprived, and this has helped. This is one of the mixtures that he has that helps with sleep.
What's up? What's up? I was thinking about what I'm gonna talk about and should I come on or not? And I was watching one of my old Patreon videos, and I was like, you know what? I gotta say something. So this is what's gonna happen. This video, I'm gonna drop some game on here, and I'm putting this on Patreon after this video. So whoever views this video, they will get some type of information, kind of intel from a perspective of someone, pretty much that's been married, been around the blocks of the Chicagoland area, even Indiana. Um, you know, Different perspective as far as how I was raised religiously. I'm going to even talk about that. I'm going to give you some information that you've heard some of this information before. I'm going to talk about the five types of women again. So this will be like a kind of a part two of that. Another person that has really laced you guys up that is no longer here and is also he's from Gary, Indiana. Alan Roger Curry. He really laid out a lot of things to kind of put you in perspective of how truly women are, their true nature, what they really want to be. He's somebody that has indulged in certain types of sex with women and certain types of underground type uh, relations with women that I have probably most likely have not indulged in, but I don't expose my actual sexual life. Only people that really know about my actual sexual life is my friends, some people that know me, some members of my family, but I actually go even more deep than what he did. But like I said, I don't expose my my actual personal comings and goings with women. Um, all I can say is, I mean, he called himself a king. um, I play chess. I'm very decent at it. All I can say is I very much try to live my life um, as a king in many regards. That's all I could kind of put things in perspective out there. Uh, yeah. So the title of this is dating and mating and marriage in 2023. Okay. It's 2023 is this time is it's really just the word the actual numbers 2023. This is futuristic. I remember when I was younger going to the auto show and the car shows. I thought it would be like, everybody, a lot of people will have flying cars by now. And, they were talking about it's going to be flying cars. It is flying cars, but not everybody got them. Okay. And you definitely need a pilot's license. They do have some prototypes out there. Um, Definitely need to probably be near an airport. But it's not like, in my mind, I thought it was going to be like the Jetsons. And it's not like the Jetsons. But that's a sidebar. Dating and mating and marriage in 2023 is it's kind of like it's kind of little kind of strange, you know. And I'm not the only guy that thinks that. I mean, there's women that also I'm sure think that as well. It's just different. Now, what's going on in the world is very different. Okay, we got wars going on. We're very intense with engagement with the Russians, also the Chinese. Um, you just kind of look at it from a historical perspective. You like, okay, United States is basically on a decline, and from that decline, there's also issues that were going on before the civil war between Ukraine and Russia before it flared up into a all in all fallout as far as a active war. with Ukraine and Russia, as you see now, with different things going on um, every day, such as spy planes being shot down, and um, high level engagement with the MiG fighters, MiG fighter jets with American jets. So it's very, very tumultuous when you think about trying to um, let's just say from the marriage aspect of getting married, having children. You know, um, it's scary for a lot of people to just have children. Like, I mean, one is like, okay, ultimately all of the things that's going on in society, right? Such as the wars that are going on, all of the different issues with the climate and everything, climate issues. I mean, you like, as a young person, you like, do I want to bring children in this crazy world, in this very, very toxic and combative world? And it does wear on certain people. But what I like to think about it is, you might be bringing forth the children that help mold and shape and change this world. Okay, you ultimately, as a man, you should. I'm gonna be honest with you. Um, when you don't really have, in my opinion, as far as going to nature, if you do not want to have children, like if you're not really thinking on a perspective of having as many children as you possibly can, as healthy as they possibly can be, in my opinion, you could never call yourself an alpha male. That would be oxymoronic. That is not something that a particular alpha in any facet of nature would think of. It's not having offspring and having as many offspring as they possibly can, as healthy as they can be. That's just definitely not anything other than uh, thoughts to the contrary on a lower level, on the male hierarchy.
Yeah.
Beta.
So, yeah, just to put that out there, right? So, when it comes to what are the complaints in the United States, the black communities complaints. Last time I checked, if you haven't saw the thumbnail, I'm black in America, right? I'm actually black in every facet of the imagination. So the complaints are various different complaints. I actually will, yeah, I'll show this dude that's trending on social media, primarily Twitter. And in case you haven't been on Twitter or whatever, you definitely should join Twitter, because I'm gonna just keep it real. Twitter is actually like the last bastion of freedom of expression in America. Because if you think about it, like, it's certain things you can't really do and even express on certain websites. Twitter is the last place where you can actually see, you could basically see everything you possibly can. I could just put it to you like that. Like, it's literally porn on Twitter. You know, you could basically see, you can yourself put your own porn on Twitter, and it would not be deleted. Like, you won't get no strike or nothing like that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's some crazy shit to just be on Twitter that you will never see probably on other different social medias, other than maybe in like behind a group or whatever on Facebook, but not even that, because they have certain scans that they'll scan an image or scan a video, automatically block you, put you on a ban, all of that type of stuff. So Twitter, as far as last time I checked, is like the last social media truly kind of somewhat expression of freedom. As far as what you could actually see, post, and all of that type of stuff. So a lot of times I toggle between Twitter um and primarily Facebook, but I'll be on Twitter a lot more because I kind of like Twitter, and I have probably more engagement on Twitter than I do Facebook. People on Facebook actually act very, very, very fake on Facebook. It kind of goes with the whole thing. Like people act real fake on Facebook. So with Twitter, people act like that too, but you can basically tell like you can actually kind of like, what I'm saying, clap back at somebody also, and you ain't necessarily gonna get blocked or anything like that. You can actually say, certain things and stuff. So you gotta be able, like, Twitter's a monster, man. They come at you, and you gotta be able to come back, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I find a lot of content on Twitter. But in terms of like I said, marriage and everything like that. Um, another reason I wanted to do this video, I was listening to Erica Lachey. She's primarily on YouTube now. I think she's on YouTube because, see, Instagram, you don't really make that much money off of Instagram and Facebook. So YouTube is like where a lot of people come to kind of make some money off of their content because of AdSense and whatnot. So she switched things to kind of primarily focus on YouTube. But my thing with Erica Lachey, and she's addressed it because one of the things about myself as well, I don't really talk about a lot about relationships. Okay, I do every now and again because relationships are very, very much important when it comes to all aspects of society and life, including finances. Okay, it's very, very good to have somebody you come home to that's cheerleading you on to success, and also, you know, giving you some sloppy toppy and busting it wide open for you when you get home. I mean, I shouldn't even have to say that, but I mean that's very, very obvious. Okay, um, so with that being said, yeah, relationships are very, very much um, an important aspect to both parties involved. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's a toxic you know kind of like environment in America right now. Even you can even say in the world, but marriage is a hard sell. Let's just face it. Dating and mating also is a hard sell in 2023. It's a hard sell. Um, some people kind of get it, some people don't. Okay, with back to Erica Lachey, people were talking about Erica, where okay, you giving us all of this relationship advice, and you complaining about the men, you complaining about the women, but you're not married. And I'm gonna definitely talk about the five types of women in this live. And Erica Lachey she's she's like, a lot of times she's talked about it. I've been kind of listening to Erica for like a couple years now, and she's definitely talked about, what I'm saying, what her aspects of why she's indulging in different things. And she's definitely one of the things about a lot of these women. I might as well just kind of jump right into it. A lot of women now, especially women that look anything above, let's just say, a five, and it's very, very logical and intelligent, and then they, look good, and they know they look good, right? What they're doing is, because there's so many options for them, they are actually what you would consider, they're playing the field. Or I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call Erica a monogamous pretender, but she, a lot of times women do not indulge where they are at in things. Well, she kind of did, because she, I remember, I think last year or 2 years ago, she said she enjoys a lot of different, she enjoys having sex. Okay. She enjoys having, you know mostly all women enjoy sex, but I think that she's, kind of jumping from men to men to a certain degree. Now, here's the thing: Eric is on a she's on a, like, kind of a cusp of 100 octane. She's having sex with guys that probably, would be in the Dungeon family and shit like that. If you know about the Dungeon family in Atlanta, she having sex with other guys that may be, on 100 octane level. And I think that's because her last video, she addressed that she's not married because um she wants something higher as far as value from men, and she's not necessarily getting that. So that leads me to kind of somewhat speculate that she's looking for a 100 octane male, probably a high list, because you got 100 octane males that are not all the same. Okay, you got 100 octane males that are actually rich. I mean, not rich, but famous and not rich. I mean, all it to be in 100 octane is you be famous. You got a lot of famous people that actually are struggling. They famous, but they don't have a lot of money. Technically, if you count, like I say, anybody that's ever been famous at one time, you still know who they are, but they might not have the money that they used to have, but they're still famous. So yeah, and they a lot of times people after their pinnacle of fame and success, they don't know how to transition after that fame and success kind of dwindles, and transition to regular life. Like for example, I mean, there's so many NBA players, NFL players. Like for example, Steve Francis. Steve Francis was a phenom in college. I think, yeah, he went to University of Maryland. I mean, he was just like, one of those guys that wasn't even 6 feet tall, that could just dunk like phenomenally. He was an NBA. He was just like just a phenom, right? But after his NBA career, it was like a kind of a short stint, and he was working at UPS at one time. Okay, so it's like it could be so short lived that you'll still be somewhat famous, but without that money, you could be just kind of a low tier 100 octane. So in my opinion, I think she wants a higher tier octane, a higher tier 100 octane, like somebody like that is a A list celebrity type. I don't know. I mean, the thing is that you got a lot of women like that are relationship experts, but they have never been married. Okay, even myself, you know, I've been married before. So here's the thing: somebody to give advice, I would definitely say top tier person to give advice is somebody that's been married, or already are married, actively married, right? Also below that is, yeah, somebody that damn near, that pretty much has been married at one time, whether it didn't last that long or lasted a long time. Somebody that actually ever been married is most likely going to be top tier as far as advice than somebody that's never been married. Here's why. This is why I say this. So if you wanted somebody to fly a plane, you needed somebody to actually fly a plane. Do you want somebody that has never flew a plane before, would talk a lot about flying a plane, but they themselves have never piloted a plane before. But they talk everything about the instruments. They know all the instruments. They know the instrument clusters. They know how to pull the landing switch up and down. They know everything possibly damn near about an airplane, but they have never rode an airplane or flew an airplane, right? Versus somebody that has flown airplanes for, let's say, well, I was married for about 4 years. I flew up, okay, a person that's flew airplanes for 4 years, you know, had different flight routes and you know, landed planes, took off on airplanes for years, right? But then they had one crash and they obviously survived that plane crash. They had one plane crash, right? Which is the synopsis, as I'm saying, is a divorce, right? They crashed the plane and survived, right? Versus someone that has never driven or rode a plane or flew a plane, took off, landed a plane. They're giving you advice and they're saying that their advice is top tier, or they got excuses and everything like that. What do you think is your perception as far as who is better to give advice? Okay, somebody that has never ridden a plane but knows all about it versus somebody that actually has rode a plane and flew a plane but had one crash. Okay, that all parties survived, including them. That's for you to be the judge. I'm not gonna, speculate on that. But here's the thing: after a while, yeah, in regards to like my millionaire savings plan, if I don't become a millionaire for whatever reason, however I get there, then okay, yeah, I just written a good book and it's a lot of good concepts. I've helped a lot of people. I probably even helped a lot of people become millionaires, but I've never myself became a millionaire, right? Well, I'm not gonna speculate that I'm more of an expert than somebody that's already have been a millionaire. I never would do that. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate it. I wouldn't come off like, for example, I'll just say this. I appreciate that. If Anton Daniels is proved, like you gotta prove that you actually are a millionaire. You gotta show me you can make a copy of your bank statement or assets. You can blot out all your addresses and everything like that. If somebody like showed me that they actively are on paper, counts and all, are prove that they are a millionaire, they come on my channel or talk to me or whatever, I'm not gonna say nothing about, oh man, I'm more of an expert. You should do this and this and this. Oh, I know more than you. And I would never engage in that type of silly behavior because that makes no sense. A millionaire compared to me that has never been a millionaire is not, my advice and everything like that does not trump someone that's already have been a millionaire. you know Even if they became a millionaire because they were a hitman or something like that. I mean, however means that they became a millionaire, the fact that they actually are a millionaire and on paper showed that they've already been a millionaire, what their advice, I am speculative to be mute as far as their discussions and their examples of what you should do and how you should do it, and so on and so forth. So I say all of that to say, with relationship advice and stuff like that, I definitely agree that you should listen to someone as far as credibility. You should speculate for someone that's been having a long-term uh, pattern of not being married. I ain't gonna say no names. I've already, like I said, I actually do. I think I'm subscribed to Erica Lachey, or she definitely comes on my feed. But I mean, as good as looking as she is, as tall as she is, as smart as she should definitely have already been married. Definitely have already been married. And if years go by and she's not married, then you got to look at things like with a side eye. Like, what are you doing? You got all of this advice, but you can't choose. You have a fear of planes. You have a fear of flight, right? You don't you have a fear of getting married. Because another thing as far as when it comes to marriage, right? Also even children. People are afraid to mess up. They're afraid to because see, here's the thing when it comes to that. The reason why people are afraid to have children or be a baby mama or whatever, or even afraid to get married, they're afraid to mate and also get married, is because they one or two things. One, most of the times, both of those things. What's going on the spot live? They are afraid to fail. They're afraid to actually fail. They're like, fear of failure is very, very strong, right? Like a fear of getting in a relationship and getting divorced, and then also having a child by yourself because it's embarrassing in society. Here's the thing, like I said in my video, I did a video on single mothers and stuff like that, right? This for single mother thing, as far as in the culture in the United States, is very relatively new. In my lifetime, from being a teenager, actually a preteen, to now is when it was a big rise in single mothers. It kind of started with teenagers. Like when I was in high school, it was becoming a little bit more common that uh, teenage pregnancy was becoming a big thing. It became so big that MTV, it started to going into the white part of society, and they made an MTV show about it. So it has dwindled since, but it became a big thing. It's still I'm sure an issue or something that's going on, but that catapulted into the commonality of women just being single mothers, which that became a norm in society. I've literally in my lifetime seen that become a normality in society. Now, you got a lot of women that you got to understand, they get older. They like, well, if I don't have any children, it's not like I can just keep going and living my life and then I have options. You know, a lot of women don't necessarily want to adopt. They want to have their own child. That's just a natural imperative. So they just work with what they got, and they just, get that, like, they get one or two children, and live their life. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the thing that's going on too. But you got women that actually even just, yeah, they just want to live a life of perfection. And they don't want to get pregnant. They don't want to be they can kind of even conclude that being a single mother is really kind of the only outcome that's pretty much possible, because they have problems with men as far as long-term relationships. The relationships don't tend to last for a long term. So the being a single mother would be like kind of the only option available, because it's just not a long-term option for them as far as to be married for a long period of time or whatever, what have you. So because of proxy of perfection, they just don't choose at all. Because you got another thing, that's also, you got women that are religious, and then men as well. You got men that have the same attitude as what I'm talking about. So when I say women, I'm talking about men too. They have very similar attitudes. Because you got a lot of people that are religious, whether it be Christian or whatever, monotheistic religion or Abrahamic religion. Muslim, Jew, Christian, same type of, kind of values that's talked about in the Bible. Basically, you should not be, fornicating, you should not have children out of marriage and all of that type of stuff, right? And a lot of times that kind of goes into even further, both women and men, kind of not even choosing, because basically it's a situation where they've talked about a lot of people. They've had discussions. They had long, hour-long, 5-hour conversations about, damn, I mean, they know their cousin is a single mother. They cut that, other cousin is a single father and he's had issues, and they had all of these critiques of all of these different people, from their friends and families to other people in society. And it done, everything, called these people everything but the child of God. So now it puts them into another perspective of where they become a hypocrite if they talked down about, single motherhood and single parenthood and all of these things, right? And they go out and just have, oops baby, right? They are a hypocrite now, because they've done talked all about these people. And a lot of times, yeah, people don't really, not everybody just be like, what, skip it. They don't want to be a hypocrite, so they basically stick to their guns, stick to what they think is right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? So that's one aspect of it, as far as, why men and women are not necessarily going to have children and or get married. You know what I'm saying? Like dating is not necessarily an issue, but it is an issue as far as things is concerned, because it's, people are not necessarily okay with, the value of what you're getting in dating. you know just the overall coffee date versus an actual full meal. Some people are like, oh, if you can't afford that, then you don't, you shouldn't be dating, or this and that. And it's like, to a certain extent, it kind of goes deeper. And that's why I'm going to be talking. Definitely, I mean, this video is definitely going on Patreon after this, because I'm going to discuss some things that your mama should have told you, your uncle, your daddy, your grandpa should have told you. And I ain't gonna lie, nobody told me these things. I had to live my life. I had to, read books. I had to come on YouTube after failed relationships for this information. I had to come to these conclusions at a later date in life. Uh, you know, when if I would have had this information when I was younger, I could have just excelled in life, had less issues, and it's valuable to me. That some people don't believe in the whole game concept, or whatever the case may be, or some people say you don't need game. And I'm gonna just tell you, I'm gonna just, kind of like, I know my videos be real long, but I gotta kind of let you understand some things, to put things in perspective, as far as uh, the aspect of game, right? Or just the aspect of, like I say, dating and mating and marriage, is concerned. I used to think that as well. Like, I used to think, like, game, what? I got plenty of game. My game cool. I know I got plenty of game. Nope. It turns out that, like, for the whole red pill and blue pill type stuff, right? Being woke or conscious or whatever. Yeah, I was definitely conscious. I I started becoming conscious, I would say about 2007. Yeah, I was selling DVDs, and I mean, I was already understanding about zeitgeist and the Illuminati and all this other stuff, right? I mean, I went full bonkers with it, right? But I left one door kind of halfway closed, right? So I grew up primarily with older sisters. My mother and my father were married, but my mother and father definitely didn't have no Cosby, Huxtable type of marriage. I did come from a two-parent household, but it was rocky. It was times where yeah, my mother and father or my father had to leave. My mother got in an argument and stuff like that. So it wasn't necessarily like a Huxtable household. By far, it was not that, right? But the thing is that yeah, I did grow up with my dad. Wake up in the morning and I could actually see my dad, right? I'd ask him for some money for school. You know, I did have that. But I say all of that to say that you know, basically, when it comes down to um, having game and everything, where I say I left the door cracked, my dad didn't really tell me much about relationships and stuff like that. Um, my dad actually, like, only thing I could say I could remember, like, I remember my dad caught me masturbating, and he said get a girlfriend, like get a woman, basically. I was like 14 years old, I think, and my dad caught me in the room beating my tallywhacker. And he was like, get a girlfriend, basically. He did show me like different, like he had friends, right, that was from Ghana that they came over to America together. And he showed me a picture of a woman, or a young woman that was about my age at the time, and I was like, nah, I don't want to. that I mean, that was a grave error. I actually met that guy. He's like, you know, a very older dude now, gray hairs and all. That come to find out that was his daughter, right? I went to a dinner, you know, it's like a whole bunch of people from Ghana and different parts of Africa there. And I met the guy in, you know, at 42 years old. And yeah, that was his daughter. You know, she's married and everything like that, kids and all. But that was the extent of the, you know, kind of transition of like, you know, marriage and everything like that. You know, I didn't pick that young woman. I chose to, you know, Jones up on women that I went to high school with and different women that are, you know, from around where I grew up, you know, the south suburbs of Chicago. So, you know, my uncles didn't really teach me much because they kind of didn't really do. I mean, I'll be honest, my uncles, they did, a couple of my uncles did okay. Not really. Like I look at like my uncles would be considered the man that kind of just deals with their wife and just puts up with a lot of bullshit that I know I wouldn't put up with. And by proxy of them putting up with the bullshit, they have stayed married for like decades. I just don't co-sign with that. You know, they definitely didn't show me nothing but like, yeah, you put up with your wife shit and then you stay married and you pay the bills and stuff like that. I mean, that's not necessarily no game that I necessarily would expect as far as things is concerned. My grandmother and my grandfather didn't put me up on no game other than how to run a business. You know what I'm saying? You know, kind of showed me a little things as far as like, yeah, he hired his wife before my grandmother was his wife, she was her she was his boss basically, you know. So or her boss, right? So like, yeah, I mean, I basically, that was the extent of like understanding. And my mother didn't put me. So long story short, I didn't really have that much game that I thought I had, and kind of learning the actual consciousness or understanding of women and interrelationships and different types of relationships and what women do and versus what men do. I had to learn that, you know, a kind of a lot later in life. And it's very, very valuable to understand that type side of things, because you have women, the thing with game is that you're gonna run across women that do have that understanding from a female perspective, and you're basically gonna get gamed. You're gonna be what is called game goofy, and you're going to get taken to the ringer, you know, because they're going to use certain things to manipulate you and get you in a ringer. And then next thing you know, you like, damn, you know, I got you know, got, because I didn't understand what was going on in America, you know. So I'm gonna lace you up a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, I'm gonna put this on Patreon because I definitely want to let you know that I do have a lot of information on Patreon that is not necessarily on the side of YouTube. It's not on YouTube. It's a lot of information on business, stocks, my stock methods, what I do to look for stocks, the winners that I picked uh, historically, as well as different methods that I use to pick winning stocks. Okay. Business, talk about business and stuff like that as well. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna start back. I'm gonna definitely start back advertising my Patreon. It's $3, starts at $3 a month. And then you have higher tiers, got $35 a month, you get a gift. You know, you get to pick a topic, you know, stuff like that. And then you got higher tiers than that. It's like $300 you can get to co-host a show, and you can pick a topic, of course, and you get a gift as well. Now, of course, $35 you get in a gift that's, you know, pretty much kind of commensurate to what that price is. $300, guess what? I'm going to Macy's. You're getting something decent, very, very decent for that price. I mean, I'm a value added type of person. I'm not a scam artist. You know, I give you what you give me, you know what I'm saying, back in return. You know what I'm saying? So without that, you know, with all of that said, yeah, you know, basically definitely check out my Patreon. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of information that's not necessarily on YouTube. I'll just say this. It's a lot more graphic on Patreon than it is on YouTube. And a lot more real and a lot more game, a lot more understanding on Patreon than it is on YouTube. I kind of dumb things down a little bit, and I'm kind of a lot more PG on YouTube versus on my Patreon. So, you know what I'm saying? Basically, yeah, definitely check out my Patreon. It's in the description of all my videos. So with all that said, okay, when it comes down to it, dating and mating in 2023, you know, what are you dealing with, right? As far as from a perspective of women, what are you dealing with? You're dealing with five types of women, okay? Dealing with five types of women. Now, these five types of women, like I said, I talk about this on my Patreon, but this will be like a part two. You're dealing with 5 types of women in this dating and mating world, right? So the basically first type is this here, LGBTQ. Okay, all right. You're dealing with women that deal with women that also deal with men and all kind of other stuff, transgender and all this stuff. This is basically, I'm gonna go into more detail with this. Okay, so we live in a society that goes back to Rome, Greco-Roman society, Egyptian society. Okay, all of that, all of the aspects when it comes to how they got down in Greco-Roman culture, it transitioned to the West, to the Greeks, to the Gauls, to the Huns, all of that, all those Western European, they basically took on that culture. Those people mixed in with the Greeks and the Romans, and they brought in that culture, that gay culture, that homosexuality culture. It's really, really, really it's rising in this society, definitely rising, because one of the things about what you could see, because I'm very, very much a historian of some sorts as well. You can associate this with a decline in society. Okay, um, when it comes down to it, you can definitely look back at Rome. There's actually an art. It's an art. It's at one of these colleges. It's called a Roman orgy. Okay, this is at one of these colleges, and then it's an example of basically the decline of Rome. Okay, this is what how Rome declined somewhat. Okay, so basically, while Rome, they was out having these public orgies, men on men, women on women, men on women, and even worse and more deplorable that I'm not going to talk about. Because in my opinion, definitely not even my opinion, if basically you did an actual adaptation, 100% adaptation of what Greco-Roman society entailed on film, you could not do it and actually stay above a jail cell. I'll just say it like that. Okay, you couldn't do an actual portrayal of what went on in Greco-Roman society in the streets, and actually stay above the jail cell. Okay, so in my opinion, when there's a rise of homosexuality, there is definitely a link with the decline of civilization. This is the stuff I don't really, talk about much. I keep it in, but I see it. I know the history regarding it, and it definitely correlates. Now, I'm going a little bit too ham and too extreme, but I'll dial back. I'll definitely dial back. What's going on, Snowman? I mean, basically, when it comes to the 5 types of women, these women are kind of, when I say all of the toxic and how hard it is in society in 2023, these women a lot of times are responding from that harshness of society. Unfortunately, everyone has to survive, no matter if the sun comes out or it rains or it's cold or too hot or whatever. People, all animals, humans have to survive. And unfortunately, if a woman is raised in a society where she's under a serious hardship, she's dealt with at a young age by someone older, older male, in the family or outside of the family. She's, had to deal with a lot of different hardships. She's going to kind of be spinned in this type of way where she's going to go towards women. Um, Another thing is that it's just becoming very, very commonplace. I definitely believe it's something associated with it, with kind of in the water. I'll just go tinfoil. Think it definitely is something associated with the water. Being it's a certain narrative. They want people to be this way because it basically curtails childbirth. If you're gay, you're not having children for the most part. Even though that's not necessarily even true. Because you got a lot of gay women that actually do have children as well, and also even men. But this is just a response to a couple things. A lot of times, what I notice, the women that are like this are not very, very attractive and appealing to the eye. They're not getting chose. Years and decades of not getting chose, or even, you know, grammar school, high school, not getting chose by men. The women that do look good, they get dogged out by men, and then they become, this whole thing right here, right? The LGBTQ army. They get initiated, right? And they go to these parties, right? Let me show you kind of what goes on in these little parties or whatever. Let me show you kind of what kind of goes on in these little parties, these girl trips and these little parties and whatnot. Okay. Um, Share my screen, show you what goes down. Because you would know, like, women are very, very good at keeping secrets and keeping the girl code secret. You wouldn't know unless you like a fly in the wall. But let's play this here. Let's see here. It's showing. Okay. All right. Let's go.
Rose party.
It's where all these women put roses on their vagina and they hold it there, and the last person to come gets ate out.
Who's eating the coochie?
I don't know who is doing it, but it sounds like a great time. As soon as I saw it, I was like, why have I never heard of this? Also, I don't know anybody who would do a rose party with me. You probably need like 5 of them at least.
I would think you need a couple.
That's a lot. That takes a lot of time.
Like, when does it become a party? Like after 4?
He said, what, 2 or more again? Isn't it 2 or more gathered? Is that right? Have I been out too long? Man, they gonna tear us up. Actually, if you listen to this podcast, you probably don't want to tell nobody. So, it sounds like a good ass time.
What is a rose party?
It's
So yeah, I mean, it's quite common. Now here's my critique of the LGB whatever, when it comes to women, right? So I ain't gonna lie, I'll spill the beans. Let's just say, like, I've been actually with a lot of these women, right? And it's becoming somewhat of a hobby because I kind of like to knock these women straight a little bit for however long I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's becoming somewhat of a like hobby of mine, to kind of knock these bras straight a little bit. Like, it just, I don't know. I mean,
This one.
What?
But I mean, it's just the thing is that I don't know. It's a lot of them, and they do actually. All of these women that I'm talking about have relations with men. The whole I'm gay thing is just it's according to my opinion. This is just my opinion. Women that are per se gay or lesbian, um, a lot of them natural. I believe in the whole nature versus nurture thing. Naturally, I think that they want some dick. Not that I even think that. I've they've been on my dick, like literally. Like I mean, it ain't no I've seen. I mean, or whatever, or I think I've actually the most butchest Brittany Griner looking chick has been on my dick, like literally. Uh, and it's been and they deal with other men, like uh, they don't say much about it. On the surface, you're seeing a gay butch chick or whatever, with titties and of course a vagina and ass and all of that. But you don't think like, damn, I mean, she really is gay. Like she don't. And that same chick that you see is engaging in that type of behavior, she is definitely you would be surprised what she actually do behind closed doors. And also, the woman, it typically what a film in a dom, right? Uh, the film is the woman that looks kind of girly and still, and then she typically does engage with men, also women, right? And then the stud, she kind of sticks with women, right? But what some of these women do is have threesomes with guys because they both have a yearning for a guy, having a yearning for, sex with the man. I mean, they're using a strap on. But back to my critique of women like this is that here's the thing, like it's socially acceptable for women to engage in that type of behavior as far as lesbianism and everything, right? But you know it's totally acceptable. It's okay, carpet munchers, whatever you want to call them, right? But dudes is always gay, right? I mean, they always talking about gay dudes, right? But it's okay for women to be gay, but dudes, nah. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of like tripped out to me. Like society, like women only accept women to be lesbians. It's fine, the carpet munch as you want, but no, you could never be gay, right? Not that any guy would want to be, or I understand, or whatever the case may be, but you notice how that it's just a cardinal sin for a dude to be in this, right? Because dudes are in this as well, right? But it's only okay for women to be in this, you know. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely the first type of woman in society. This is something that's definitely climbing as well. Okay. So this is very, very important because you kind of gotta know what you're dealing with. You gotta know what you're dealing with. The second is fem sales. Okay. Fem sales is primarily a lot of women that they are either long-term celibate, or they're just basically they don't confess that they're celibate or not. They just kind of like disengage from relationships, truly engaged from relationships. You got some women that come off like they're femcells, right? Like, for example, the woman that is on my channel, she's on TikTok. She goes by Dana Dane or whatever. She comes off to me like a femcel, right? But what she actually is doing is very similar to kind of what a lot of women that are kind of somewhat relate. She's kind of somewhat that is more of a relationship expert. She's always talking about relationships, right? Uh, these women do not disclose their relationships. Okay, they don't disclose, you know, the actual like they don't talk about who they don't go into detail at all about who they're actually having sex with and all of that, how much sex that they're actually having. They basically come off to you as if they're just waiting and they're just gonna get old and they're not going to like that's how Dana Dane comes off like she's just this, troubled woman that has had these relationships and she just doesn't really want to get in another relationship and she just kind of just wants to grow old. She said like in her last video, she wants to grow old and basically go retire from an island. Let me see if I can kind of pull her video up because we can just see this in real time. No need for me to just be black and on. We could just see what a real case scenario of what is going on. You know what I'm saying? No need to just for me to say anything. We could just get it right from the horse's mouth. So let me see here. Let me give me just a second. Yeah, I mean it's I'm still trying to find this video, but I'll um I'll play one video to just kind of give you an idea of what I am been saying as far as what I think is as far as an example.
And I started. But basically, let me take you back
So yeah, I'm already sharing that. Okay, let's go. Let's go.
to a video I made a couple months back where I talked about when I graduated high school, I had went on a strict diet. I got my body in the best place it had been. I started dating. Guys wanted me for my body. Once I realized that and I peaked game and realized a lot of them was wanting to talk to me, take me on dates and all that kind of stuff because they wanted to sleep with me. First thing I knew is I'm not sleeping with you, but I will finesse you, right? Because it was either finesse or get finesse. And since I'm not in the business of getting finesse, I was going to be doing the finessing. One thing I say on my platform to this day is I don't understand why women do so much to get the less, because you get the most out of men when they have an incentive to get something out of you, right? So if a man is trying to sleep with you, that's typically when you'll be able to get the most out of him. Doesn't mean you actually have to go through with sleeping with him, but as long as he believes that he will get a chance to, that's when you get him to come up out of that pocket with the most stuff, the most dates, the most money, the most gifts. When they are fighting to get something, is when you get the most. Once I realized that, that's when the finessing started. A lot of women are under the impression that I push purity culture on my page, but no, I push don't be stupid culture. Because as it stands right now, y'all are out here moving silly, right? You out here smashing all of these different dudes, and the only thing you walking away with is your feelings hurt, getting played, STDs, and babies. That's the only thing I see y'all getting out of it, right? I don't come from that world. I come from the world of getting what it is that you want from men without having to give up nothing. Now, I would not encourage this behavior in this climate. It's a lot of dudes that's been raised by single mothers and they don't react well to getting played, right? So I would not encourage this behavior, but I also wouldn't encourage behavior to be sleeping around reckless either. But what made me stop, what made me change was just the fact that I just got older and I realized, I did it for a while and I just wanted to become a better person, right? Like I was terrible during this time. Like I was really mean and bad to some men. And a lot of times people just don't ask the right questions on my platform. I'm not this nice girl. I'm not a good girl. I'm not this sweet girl, right? I've given many men hell, right? I've been some men's worst nightmare, right? So it's not like I be on here trying to pretend like I am a nice girl, right? Everything that has ever happened to me, I always say I own it, right? Like everything that I've went through, everything that I've dealt with when it came to men, I done got my karma back in some situations from being terrible. But nevertheless, I was. And eventually I just didn't want to do that no more. I didn't want to be that person no more, right? It wasn't benefiting me. It was ruining those men. And I just didn't want that life. And so, I went on a 10-year break of not talking to no men. I done already talked about that too. And I just focused on myself. I decentered men completely, and I just refocused my life and my vision, right? But I am, grown enough to say what I did and take ownership of what I did and say, no, it wasn't right, but that's who I was.
There you have it. I mean, I was looking for another type of video, but she's actually said a lot more in that regard. Like I said, I mean, now she's mentioned that she still has men, I believe. I mean, like you have women that they pick and kind of choose who they get with, but they still consider themselves in and out of relationships type of thing. So I mean, it's like, yeah, you these types of women. This is the second type of woman, basically that is like I said, I would consider them like femcells. they can still, kind of get some. They'll deal with a dude and behind closed doors, and they just, to keep their audience. A lot of times these women, they have large audiences like herself. They'll come, with the illusion that they still not dealing with no men, but they're still having the sneak, the little sneak relationship, or not sneak relationship, but the sneak dick or whatever on the side, every now and again. Um, they'll still do that, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a lot of times women like that, they the reason why they take this approach to uh being like she say in a break, a 10-year break, is because they get tired of having toxic relationships. They were really involved in a relationship, whether they might got beaten up, they got beat upside the head. Because see, here's the thing, you gotta think, like, a lot of times people don't talk about the bad situations, what actually was involved. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you taking money from men, I would never tell my daughters to take money or try to finesse any type of dudes. Because see, here's the thing. At the low scale, you have a situation where the dude, he want what he gave you back in return. He wants some money back. He wants something back that you took from him, or whatever that you gave him, and or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Women be wanting stuff back after a relationship ends too. So when you finessing dudes, you got to think of what can happen from that. The worst is, yeah, ain't no more, ain't no talking, no TikTok, nothing. You dead. You under the grave, right? The most, that's the most, right? The least, yeah, you got a couple hits upside the head. You got beat up. Some dudes that you done got involved with, they done beat you up, and you done had a domestic violence relationship with men that you finessed, or you know what you was getting into it with the dudes that you was with. And after that situation, like I said, a lot of times women, they go be gay after that situation, because they get abused really really hard from the dude they was in a relationship with, and they get traumatized from men. They lump all men together, um or they become, yeah, like her, fem cells. And it's tough medicine. I mean, a lot of older dudes, they don't say nothing, but they done been around the block. They know these women. They know what is the problem with these women. Why they do the things that they do. I mean, we might not tell you, because we don't necessarily, we want to spare your feelings, but we can absolutely understand what probably happened that you don't want to disclose. Because it happens every day. You done got beat up, by some dudes that you done, tried to finesse off with, and got into it with. Make she if you made okay, she's saying that she made somebody's life a living hell. Just think about that. If you done made somebody's life a living hell, probably done threw them, called the police on them, got them locked up, and they got out, and then caught you and whooped your ass. I mean, when somebody gives you hell, you give them back hell. So receiving that hell back, that puts you in a situation where, yeah, you probably don't want to deal with no dudes for like 10 years, 5 years, something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why women become femcells, and it's usually by various means of survival. I can't really deal with no dude like that. I don't want to be gay, but I'll just be a femcell. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't think about this. They don't think about this like this, right? So the third thing, the third type of woman is a monogamous woman. I'll say a general monogamous woman. Because a lot of women, I'd say there's still quite a few women that are typically like this. Basically, they just go from relationship to relationship. They don't necessarily cheat on their dudes. They be like, I can spot women that are truly satisfied by the dude that they with. I can just see it. I can see a glow from certain women. Like, yeah, you get regular, you get quality peen. You like the dude that you getting peen from. I can see it on your face. You are a satisfied woman. You are getting satisfied. I can absolutely tell. And I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100 with you. I can even tell if a chick I'm with is getting something from somebody else that's not me. Yep. I mean, hard. I know the look that I've given women, and I know that look, and I know if I haven't been giving them nothing, and they got that look, they got it from somebody else. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a hurting feeling when you with a woman and she's you ain't been with them and they got that look and you ain't gave them that look, man. It's a hurting feeling, boy. It's a hurting feeling. But generally, monogamous women, a true monogamous woman, she most like a lot of women like this are typically on the prime side of the game. Okay, if you following me, you know about the subprime and the prime women, and definitely this is going straight on Patreon. The game is pretty much to be sold, not told. You know, I'm not about to give y'all the game. You know what I'm saying? I'm not your uncle. You got to pay me for it.
Games with the souls, not told.
So the thing is that when it come down to the come down, I give my dieharders, you know what I'm saying, a free preview. But this is gonna go on the Patreon. Um, yeah, typically women that are monogamous, they can be subprime too, but typically this is what you find from your women that are more kind of loyal. They're more loyalist, and they are tend to be at the very least cooperative, very very much cooperative, or even tolerable to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, typically these types of women, they they not gonna give you the number. Um, they ain't gonna necessarily, what I'm saying, cheat on you. They gonna stick with you or whatever. They typically like men that don't cheat as well, but they might deal with you. They might give you the hall pass, or they might deal with you. You know what I'm saying? And they know you got another chick or whatever, but they'll be monogamous. The flaw to this is, like, for example, you got men that'll have a stable. Okay, you got men that'll have a harem of women, and it'll be maybe one or two women that are just monogamous women, or three or whatever, and they just with that one dude. Okay, and you like, damn, I want to get with you and everything like that, and I know who you with and everything, and like you just pretty much claiming this dude that got like three or four other dudes. It's not for you to judge. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody has to deal with their decisions. you know they might even have a baby by the guy, and they know the other dude got other women or whatever, but they generally monogamous. it's still quite a few women that are monogamous. I mean, it's not more, I would say, than the other women that I'm going to be talking about later in this discussion. But generally, yeah, women tend to be just monogamous. For other reasons, I would say is okay. When women start to have children, not all of them, but some of them actually they don't want to come up they don't want to come across to a certain extent to their children, especially when their children get over the age of 7 and 8. They start to, their frontal cortex, their consciousness, their understandings and awareness get really, really heightened the older they get. They know mama's a hoe. If she got all these dudes, my mama's a hoe. And women get subconscious and kind of self-check themselves once they have, not all of them, but some women, when they get children, they start to either try to hide the behavior or they try to even change the behavior to a certain extent, or keep it even keel to kind of shape the vision of their children. Okay. But overall, yeah, typically women are just generally monogamous. A lot of women that are religious, they are typically like this as well. There's still women that are religious. That is fading. That's definitely fading in this country. Religion. I talked about that in my video on boomers or whatever. I think I talked about that in one of my videos as far as the decline of religion in America. But yeah, it is very much declining. But women are generally still monogamous. Okay, so this will be definitely the third type of woman. So the fourth type, and this is generally what you find, and this is what's giving you motherfuckers hell in the dating and mating market in America, and also marriage market in America. This is what you call the monogamous pretender. Okay. Now, some of this, Alan Roger Curry talks about in his different books. He's talked about some of these types of women, right? Um, so I don't want to, come off like I'm the first general protagonizer of or progenitor of this information. Definitely some of this Alan Roger Curry talks about as well. He talks about different types of women on his various books, as well as his channel, if it's still up. I haven't even checked to see if his channel is still up, but yeah, he definitely talks about this. So you got monogamous pretenders. Most women are monogamous pretenders. Okay, most women. This is, if you don't get anything from this actual live stream right now, or any other live stream that I do as far as relationships and everything, this is what you need to know. Out of everything that I'm talking about, you to avoid, if you the type of dude that you try and avoid from having a lot of heartache and headache, problems, issues, even I would even go as far as in depth of having issues with women having babies that's not yours, is paying attention to this type here, the monogamous pretender. Okay, the monogamous pretender is very much what you need to focus in on, because a lot of women are like this. Okay, a lot of women are pretty much like this now, and it's growing. This is very much the city girls and all these other the rappers, the female rappers nowadays. This is what they are preaching, to be the best monogamous pretender. Even the last chick that I was talking about, she was talking about how she was very much a good finesser. Okay, this is what basically you need to focus in on, this type here, because this is a lot of women. This is what they are. They are monogamous pretenders. What do they do? They sell monogamy. They sell relationships. They are into having a relationship, and then they talking about girls as players too, type of women, right? They trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're trying to be the opposite of men. The a lot of women that are feminists and all of that type of stuff, they love this type of subtype. They are this. They are the embodiment of feminism. They um they are the monogamous pretender. Okay, um, very much so, because they want to have a relationship, have that guy pay the bills, do everything for them, and they are at work. These women could be of all types. They could be married, or they could have a boyfriend, a very serious long-term relationship where the man is basically the boyfriend is very seriously considering marriage, her making her his fiance. They're very, very serious, but he doesn't necessarily have any understanding, or he may be so enthralled with her, like the chick said on the video, that he is not understanding that he is in a relationship with a monogamous pretender. The monogamous pretender basically is she is the last woman that I'm talking about, which is the basically an open woman, or the conscious slut, or the open um the chick for the streets, right? She just doesn't want to come up off like she's a hoe. Her friends know that she's a hoe, but her boyfriend and or husband doesn't know, right? She doesn't, he doesn't know that she basically has a work husband, that they engage with all aspects of that type of relationship, such as secret hotel rooms, visits, lunch breaks, sex escapades, just general, at work break escapades, where they just go meet in a secret room or office somewhere, and have a boning session for however long it takes. And this goes on all across America, like every single day, that women are, you know, they say the aspect of women cheating is very much on par with men. Like it's really, they say statistically that women cheat just as much as men. Well, you got to think about it, right? Yeah, men typically cheat as well, right? But who can cheat easier? You got to think about that. Who actually can cheat easier? Can a woman cheat easier? Who can have sex easier? Can a woman have sex easier than a man, or a woman? A man can have sex easier than a woman. That's something you should already know and ponder. But basically, yeah, a woman that she could be unattractive, right? And have a nice set of titties, some ass. Women can actually go get the BBL, get the breast augmentation, which I don't like. I don't like women with fake body parts, right? But some men, they don't care. They so thirsty. You got to remember, men actually have sexual relationships with blow up dolls. Okay, men don't have sex with anything, just about, right? So yeah, I mean, women can have sexual access even if they are not even fives. They could be fours and threes with a fat ass and a butter face and some big titties. They can go out to a bar with something see through, like Sierra had on the Grammys or whatever award show that was, and they can go out and get sexual access on demand. They can go into a bar, they can get up, talk to a guy, they can meet in the bathroom and bang it out right there, or go in the car and get banged out. It's very, very easy for women to have, because they have what guys pay for. Guys pay for sex every single day. That guys are more used to paying for sex. So you telling the guy that you can get free vagina just by proxy of them being lucky enough to go outside and go to a bar or a club for the night. The guy's gonna take that request, and you know, it's like hitting the jackpot, getting some free box. So yeah, it's very very much, you got situations where men basically are dealing with a monogamous pretender, and they don't know, or they either jealous or pissed off that they're dealing with a monogamous pretender, and they want to keep the chick because she might look a certain way, or she might have a lot of money, or whatever the case may be. He's sticking with her knowing that she's cheating on him. He might have got an STD. She might have got caught, and then she cried and said she won't do it again. Whatever the case may be, this is very very typical, and it's been this way for a long time. Actually, this is very very old. Women have been cheating on men in relationships and pretending like they are this, good girl when they're not, for long before my grandparents was alive, and as well as me. So it's nothing new. This is very very old, because basically they don't want to come off, because if they're going into a relationship, especially with the guy that's just a regular dude, that's just a general dude that's trying to look for a long-term relationship, or looking for a nice girl to bring home the mother. No guy wants to bring home a chick that sleeps with random dudes on a whim, or has actively sleeping with dudes while you're dating them. This is why this is comes to the whole thing where dating like is kind of tripped out, because see, here's the thing. While the girl you probably most likely is trying to date, she's already fucking somebody else. Okay, you're going on a date with her. You're going to whatever, Chili's, or the Cheesecake Factory, Red Lobster, whatever. You know, you're going on a date with her, right? You haven't vetted her, right? And first date, you going to like a steakhouse, $50 plates, whatever, and she's coming to the date with cum in her pussy, because she lives with her boyfriend, or she has a boyfriend that they regularly have sex at least once or twice a week, multiple times a day, every time they engage in sex, and she's coming to you on a date with cum in her pussy, and you're spending it, and she's trying to see if you're worthy of being in her harem, or in her rotation of guys that she has sex with, or she's just trying to kind of see what she can get out of you. So this is, like I said, this is where you gotta really really watch yourself, and a lot of women unfortunately are like this. That's why this type here is why the dating and mating market is very 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 difficult. This is what, when all of the dating and all of this shit, all people complaining about dating and marriage and all of this shit, the worst nightmare is actually this chick right here. And also, I mean, chicks are complaining as well about dudes that um they are selling monogamy, all the while that they basically are cheating on their significant other, their wife, whatever. They're selling monogamy, lying to women.
You're automatically beta. Automatically, you're beta. You're beta as fuck.
Because I mean, really, I don't really believe in cheating, because here's the thing. I don't get in no relationship where I'm gonna be setting myself up to be like, oh, I'm only gonna be with you, and all of that type of shit. I don't sell monogamy to women. So I don't even. It's no cheating if I never played the game. But the monogamous pretender, they are playing the game, and you are part of the game. So the next one up is basically the last one. Okay, is the open woman. That's that this is the woman for the streets. This is the open. This is the chick that's on Twitter, that's busting it wide open, got cum dripping down her face. You know she's a slut. She does not hide the fact that she's a slut. She's for stroke. She might have a fee for you to basically get with her. She might just want a bag of dank weed with some henny or her favorite drink. She might just want some company and some conversation. But she does not hide the fact that she's a slut, the fact that she's, basically dealing with any dude, any time of week, any time of day. She is. You treat her as such. you know, um, if you don't treat her like that, she thinks you're weird because it's like, why are you treating me so good? You done seen cum dripping down my face on my picture on Twitter, and you come and taking me, treating me like a princess, knowing damn well I got multiple dudes that I'm sleeping with on the regular. And it's like, instead of you coming like, what I'm saying, having a good time, having some fun, you know, enjoying life, you just coming to me like you trying to marry me and, have me be a good stay-at-home wife and all that. And it's creeping me out because, like, I mean, dude, do you know what I do? Like, I mean, these chicks, I mean, it is what it is. They're not hiding the fact that they like to basically have, sleep with different dudes. They open like a light switch. You just turn them on and they're on. You know, um, it becomes a situation where they do want to kind of go back to kind of being basic, but it's kind of might be difficult because they know they're hot. The pussies get hot on the regular, and they gotta have constant. What I'm saying, constant pleasure. What I'm saying, and it becomes a situation where you know some dudes deal with chicks like that, and they like dealing with chicks like this. And I mean, some dudes stay clear. That's where it becomes a monogamous pretender, where dudes don't understand, how to differentiate the open chick from the monogamous pretender because they're two of the same. The monogamous pretender is the open chick. She's just pretending to be basically the general monogamous woman, but she's also the open woman at the same time. So she has the mask of a monogamous woman, but she's really the open woman for the streets. She's married. She's could be married or in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship, and long-term relationship that um, her significant other does not suspect it at all of what she's doing, and that's pretty much it. So these are the five types of women um, in um, in relationships. There's nuances to them, but in general, these are the five types. So I say all of this to say basically, it's something that every guy should know. But here's another thing, and this is what I'm gonna close with. Um, a lot of what women are that they say they say they want, you should not fall for it. Okay, they say they want XYZ, right? They want a guy to make this and do this and say this and all of this type of stuff, right? You should not try to meet their standards. Never try to meet no woman's standards, because see, here's where you're gonna mess up at, and this is where it comes important to where you should find out who they've been with before you. Because while you're required to make over $100,000 or be rich, she done slept with a dude that lives in a hood basement that ain't got a job, and she let him hit raw, and she might have had an abortion that she didn't disclose. But you're thinking that you have to come to the table with $100,000 to damn near be rich just to date her, because that's what she's saying. I mean, you would not be happy and thrilled by the fact that when you find out her past, that you basically fell for the banana in the tailpipe, where she let a dude hit with a Netflix password and a couch in a basement, while you had to go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Rutgers, and advanced high level boot camps to learn how to code, and stay up wee hours in the morning trying to learn how to do Python scripts, and make this job and do these internships and make whatever you make now, to date this chick that said you got to do all of this, when, like I said, she let a dude hit with some weed and a Netflix password and access to his grandma's basement.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
So that's where you got to be careful with that whole thing of trying to make money and to please women and all of that type of shit. And even listen to women that have that philosophy. Because the women that have that philosophy, they're not online telling people what they require. They're actually going out and actively getting it. They don't have to talk about it. They either already have it or they're not online going talking about what they want and require. Because typically women that require that, they already got it, or they are already engaged in getting it, and they don't have any time to be online. Because that if they actually truly want those things, they're in networking events, they're in art shows, fashion shows, where those men basically congregate, that make that type of money, you know. So don't fall for that. And here's another thing, and it relates to the whole you gotta have money philosophy thing, or you have to have this and that to get you know access to women. Here's the thing. Here's the reality of what you need. All you need is to be yourself and be the best version of yourself. That's all you need to be. And that means being in the gym and all of that type of stuff, washboard abs, fledgling biceps. I mean, the whole nine, if you could. But women are going to choose you based off of what they like about you. The thing is, this is all you got to, this is something that, I would tell my sons, right? I'm a handyman. I've been a handyman my whole life for the most part, right? All you got to do is remember a nail and a screw and some wood. Women are like wood. And I'm not saying that you got to go and forcefully, screw a nail or screw. I mean, hammer a nail, screw a screw. I'm saying when a woman actually wants you and you do engage, whatever the means of how you got to it, if you know how to hammer that nail hard and screw that screw hard, and you giving her the best that you ever, that she's ever had, at that point, a lot of stuff as far as like where you at in life, what you doing in life, how successful you are in life, it does still matter, but it don't matter because you already done screwed the screw in the fucking wood. All it takes is one screw to support. It's all one good screw to support some wood on a surface or whatever, and two or three more screws makes it more of a support structure, a stronger support structure. So I mean, I just say all of that to just remember, a lot of times that's why a lot of times women do not want to give you any sexual access because they know the power that you might possess. They know, okay, if I get this guy some box, he might give me the best I probably ever had, and then I'm hooked. A lot of times women get hooked on dudes, and that's why a lot of times I kind of stay clear of a lot of women because I know women get hooked. And once they're hooked, it becomes a situation where it becomes a difficult situation if you don't want that woman hooked on you. So this is pretty much the end of this discussion. I am going to unlist this video and put it on Patreon. And pretty much if you were here to get this information, you consider yourself privileged. And if you do like this discussion and you wanted to see it further or see more, definitely check out my Patreon. It's in the description. All of my videos, and peace.